A brand new VR shooter that I'm so looking forward to. Ooh, gunplay testing and things. Okay, I didn't do that. I didn't do. No. I didn't do. No. I didn't. No, I didn't do that. No. Oh, I didn't do that. Come on. Can I? Is it like? Oh, I don't get a come on, it's gotta be some. Gotta be one. Okay. Nope. Ooh, Deagle. And I can pull back right. No. Oh, be safe. Be with it. And I. Oh, it looks so weird. Why is? It's right. Shoot. And. I didn't do that. Why? No, please. Okay. No. I just smoked my knee. I committed to. I just smashed my knee in the concrete. Oh, so why are you adjusting for me crouching? Are you saying I can't crouch down? Damn you! You took everything from me. A couple of months back, I seen this VR shooter that looked like it finally got it. Fast-paced with run-and-gun combat that also allowed for methodical gameplay as well as realistic gunfights, so that you can embrace your inner John Wick and all that. The game was called Crossfire Sierra Squadron, and it just came out. And it has got to be one of the most confusing games I have ever played. But not because it's complex. I mean, a lot of the problems come from the fact that it is way too guided, if anything. What makes it complex is the choices made on giving you what and when. The structure and layout of the game, I mean. Let me paint the stage for you. The first mission has you set up in one location as enemies start pushing in onto you whilst you are anchored into that said spot. Okay, the second mission is you sitting in place shooting targets that are coming at you. So with all that, what is this game? What does that make you think this game is? This is a game where you sit still and shoot targets, aka a VR arcade-like shooter. Wave-based shooter, stay in a spot, shoot enemies. Something that has not a lot of goodwill with the VR community because it's all we got for years, okay? And it doesn't make use of what makes VR cool. You're just stuck in a spot, just shooting waves of enemies. Simply put, most people in the VR space have zero patience when it comes to arcadey anchored shooters, being stuck in a spot and shooting things. And the reason they do this likely has to do with something we are going to come back to again and again, that you don't want to overwhelm or specifically alienate their players. To argue this point, if they gave you the ability to move around, people could likely get motion sick or get frustrated with the enemies dropping them because bullets can hurt a little bit in this game, and you could basically get frustrated and stop playing. So why don't we just make it so that you stay put, you can't even go further and push into the enemies anyway, so you're better off just staying behind that cover, right, and being safe. It's a tutorial after all, right? That just makes sense. But all this has you feel is super restricted in a medium, which is the most unrestrictive. But maybe I'm just being a touch too critical. Let's talk about the good things that I got in the first couple hours. After 2 hours of playing, I finally was able to spread my legs and run around. And honestly, at this point, you start to see some awesome mechanics. First of all, the AI in this game is one of the best in all of VR. Frankly, the bar is really low, but still. Enemies with shields rush in on you, and you have to either nail them in the leg or a little bit in the side of the head. That will knock them open, and then you can secure a headshot and usually knock them dead. But their friends will follow behind them and put a lot of pressure on you. There's also some enemies with armor, but playing normal, it is the right amount of armor, and then playing anything beyond that, it just becomes a bullet hose nonsense shit show. Anyways, enemy snipers seem to be just punishing enough to be annoying, but without having you just get dropped out of nowhere because you don't know where they are. And headshots feel pretty damn juicy, usually knocking an enemy down within 2. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the absolute wonderfulness of sniping. Sniping usually feels horrible in VR because you're shaky nonsense hands, but if you actually hold down LT, it kind of softens up all of those shakiness. So you actually can line up up a headshot with pretty generous ease, as well as I think there might be an auto locking things on heads after a little while. Sniping, good. Hell, the fact that you can hold LT on the hand that's holding the assault rifle and that will zoom in on the sight is brilliant, and I wish that was in every VR game at this point. But yes, needless to say, there are some really good things in the game. But holy shit, please let me get rid of the health bars in the base game. This is something we'll talk about in a minute. Or make them smaller, or gray them out, or make them transparent and like nothing. Now, yes, they could argue, okay, health bars can let you know when an enemy's about to die so you can finish them off and this and that. But again, what is that accessibility feature taking away? Immersion in the medium that immersion is most favored. Anyways, so after a little bit of time passed, I finally got into the meat of the game. There's plenty of explosions and spectacles galore within the campaign, although I never really found myself connecting with the overall story. Felt a little weird. I feel like they just went with us like, hey, you're a mutant that can tank a couple shots and you just go kill everyone. There's a big bad guy over there in that organization. Rip and tear, baby. Rip and tear. I feel like that would have been a lot more of a sell than the weird, I don't want to spoil it, but it's nothing really to spoil. It's nothing really to grab onto. Anyways, but that's not even the craziest point. That has to go to the fact they don't let you choose your loadout. In a game with tons of guns and tons of customizations to the guns, all affecting recoil and damage buffs and all these things, they say, nah, you have to push through a 3 or 4 hour campaign given how much you consume it or how fast you consume it. Yeah, have fun. Good luck. Also, they're always trying to make us fight harder difficulties just to make it last longer and make a worse experience. We'll talk about that as well. That's the game we wanted you to play. Crazy. Nonsense. Anyways, I have a script, but I keep firing off with my, yeah. Okay, look, the thing with Crossfire is that there are moments where it is really, really good. But I know for a lot of us, the whole automatic reload thing is almost straight up a stopping point. And if perhaps you're not a VR player and you don't know why that's such a big deal, well, let me break it down like this. It's actually pretty simple. Never mess with these 3 things: control, immersion, and modularity / choice, I guess. To be clear about what I mean, don't take away control from the player. Second, don't contaminate the player's immersion. And third, don't be rigid in how somebody shapes an experience to their liking, aka mods or modularity, how you want to enter something, how you want to go into an instance, that kind of thing. Choice is probably a better way than modularity. Too complex of a word. Anyways, and these 3 principles are further backed by some of the most successful VR games at the moment. Bone Lab, Into the Radius, Battle Talent, Pavlov, Half-Life Alyx all strive with these 3 things in mind because they are the things that differentiate VR in such a big way. And lastly, a game that I cannot not mention, quickly becoming the gold standard for VR shooters, and that special principle of control, H3. No, not that H3. Hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. H3, 3 H's, okay. Or better known as the VR hot dog game. H3 is basically a premium VR gun sim. By the way, if you ever want to have your notion of why this can't exist in VR because absolutely shattered, check out H3. This game destroys that concept out of the water. But to be fair, Anton might just be like a one-man army kind of weird freak who's just doing like the work of thousands of people, but one guy. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. What was that? The manual reload is being discussing. So with those 3 things in mind, can you now understand why auto reloading, which goes against all of the big 3, is so bad? And it's made even worse by the fact that there most likely will not be any mod support for this game, or at the very least it won't be on PS5. It's pretty unfortunate, and that's why people are so upset about the auto reload thing. It's not necessarily the auto reload thing, although it is, but it's the fact that it takes away all of those 3 things: immersion, control, and choice, or modularity, I guess. Now that's pretty stupid, crazy, but what is absolutely unacceptable is the fact that they don't let you play on the absolutely fun, impactful, satisfying. Why was this not built into the first thing that you could participate and play in, which is the realistic mode? The realistic mode in this game, please, designers, I plead with you in every possible way. Unlock this from the start. If this is unlocked from the start, the game turns into basically that Half-Life Alyx mod where every YouTuber was like John Wick this, John Wick that, and that's fair because it's sick and honestly it's pretty immersive and all that stuff. Makes sense. But I did it too. That's why I'm covering it for myself. Anyways, but yeah, there's a reason why people like that. High time to kill, you get punished really quickly if you take too many bullets, and things have meaning, and it plays into every single strength that VR has. Immersion, control, well, not so much control because of the lack of reloading, and also your ability to choose, because you can go into instances and choose a loadout. For whatever reason, you can't choose the loadout in the campaign, but you can choose the loadout in the replay of the campaign that's unlocked after you're done finishing the campaign, which unlocks realistic mode. You can take in a loadout to that. Why is this not released first? This gives you 2 out of the 3, immersion/realism and player choice/modularity. These are the things that make or break games in the VR space. And the fact that it's only unlocked after you have to dedicate like 3 or 4 hours to a kind of a meh experience, but on realistic, it becomes it's pretty fucking cool. It's actually amazing. It's really fun, actually, to have like this John Wick experience that's just challenging enough that where you actually feel satisfied by getting better, by aiming faster, by using the mechanics like grenades and stims and things like that. But it's only rewarded after you beat the entire nuts. Absolutely nuts. Also, the squad missions also are not unlocked, do not unlock realistic mode until you beat the entire campaign. What the fuck, what? What is going on? It is the superior version of your game that you make people have to wait to get to. Nuts. The only negative I have about the realistic mode is unfortunately there is still automatic reload, which is just asinine and disgusting. Pause. No, wrong channel. Here's the thing. All the points I mentioned with the importance of VR when it comes to immersion and control and all these things, and the negatives about how you can't go into a loadout and all of that, I just came from doing the realistic mode. I did a little bit of the campaign and I started to like it significantly more, knowing this was like a much better version of the game. But I went into squad play, and that, man, squad play, playing solo, because that's just me, I like playing by myself, it feels way better, and that with friends I could only imagine gets better. Even though I know manual reloading or automatic reloading is a big negative for a lot of us, for good reason like we described, I still think I would suggest giving this game a try. It's crazy to explain, but the satisfying nature of getting a headshot and nuking someone, and auto reloading kind of feeling at some point, especially when there's so many enemies pushing on you, can kind of at some point feel a little bit satisfying for a completely other reason. Not because you were able to massively nail this sequence, but instead because you were able to do it instantly. You were able to just boom boom and then keep shooting at heads, knocking them down. The reward mechanism goes more in the knocking enemies down really efficiently and less away from your ability to mechanically tinker as you reload your mag. And most enemies drop within a couple seconds. Not only that, but you can also change your loadout, upgrade your weapons. That's also something I didn't mention that I should mention that's an amazing get in this game. Also kind of annoying because it's a little bit dense, but there's a lot of things to do. Weapons that you like to level up, those weapons giving you perks that let you heal when you get a kill, or reload or do more damage at the end of your mag, all of these things. There's investment and reason for you to keep playing. And the more I kept playing, especially squads, which is the meat and potatoes of this game, the more I started having a lot of fun. Just thought I'd mention that, even though I still stand by all the criticisms I made, I now would actually suggest this game purely for the squad play. And yes, I know automatic reloading is disgusting, but the satisfying nature of getting a headshot and just like mowing down and snapping on heads and feeling so satisfied as you're able to drop enemies, it is awesome. Super awesome. I can only imagine it feels even better when you have a friend watching your back, which is the idea of squad play. Anyways, just thought I'd squeeze that in there. Back to the video. But with all that being said, there is still hope for this game for it to hit the mark. And if you made it to the end of the campaign, I'm sure you can also attest that this game does a lot of things really well. The sniping, the loadouts, the realistic mode. Seriously, this should be the first thing that people experience. It is the best version of this game because it takes away the gross health bars, enemies drop really fast, you get punished for being silly and not reacting fast enough and things like that. Then you should have the option to say, yeah, I just want to play an arcadier-like experience, which should be the second follow-up, and that should just be like a very nice way of saying easy mode for people who just want to have fun and want to play an arcadey kind of like game. Anyways, point is, there's a lot of good takeaways to this game. One of the biggest being that there's squad play. There's not that many VR co-op games that are actually okay. So what do they need to do to make this game hit the mark? Well, I think if they wanted to make this game much better, I think first of all, it sounds like a lot, but if they could find a way to let manual reloading be a thing, I think that is an amazing thing that would make this game significantly better and put it on the radar for a lot of people. Also, if they're planning on adding to this game, which I believe they are in the future, it would be wonderful and fantastic and amazing if they shaped those expansions or add-ons in line with those big three things: control, immersion, choice. And if they made it so that the realistic mode was a right off the hop choice that you could pick, and ideally was maybe one of the first and second tutorials that you could do so that you could choose which one you'd rather have, and I think a lot of people would actually go with realistic mode. And of course, this is something that everyone has complained about alongside the weirdness of auto reloading. Health bars, again, get rid of them. No one wants them. At least give me the ability to toggle it off in the options. That'd be wonderful. And if you do all that, you add the manual reloading, you change the way the game introduces things to you, i.e. hopefully the realistic mode is up for grabs right at the hop, you take away the health bars, and I think a lot of people would actually really engage with this game. Frankly, it's already in a niche kind of space with the fact that you can play squad play with friends, essentially. The only thing that would make it better is if you could actually play against actual people. Kind of like an actual Call of Duty-like experience where you're fighting and dunking on people. Yeah, now I have this sneaking suspicion that that whole manual reload fix is not just for ease of use, but also it probably makes adding guns and various other things much easier, which I believe is a staple of the Crossfire formula. So I kind of get why they did it that way too. It's mostly just because it fits within the nature of a ton of guns constantly being flown into the game or thrown into the game, and you just being able to set an animation so that as soon as you get close to the gun, it goes through and you're right as rain. Yeah, I get it. I think again, it's something that you can't get away with in the VR space because of the three tenets being so important. Anyways, I'll check back on this game in a couple months and let you guys know how it's doing. And with all my criticisms aside, I did have a lot of fun actually playing this game, even though I hated the manual reload. So if you wanted to have a fun time with a buddy, I actually would suggest this game. Sure, it doesn't have modding, but it does have a ton of guns to play with, and it lets you do crazy stuff like dual wielding pistols and just going to town, and vice versa with automatic weapons as well. It's a good game, actually. There's parts of this game where you really fall into the spectacle and it works. And lastly, if the devs are actually watching this, sorry for beating you up so much. I hope you continue to crack on with this game, because despite all my frustrations with it, there were some moments where I truly felt like I was experiencing something special. My name is GRINN, I hope I can see you again, but if you happen to want to see me sooner, then we also stream, pop in, say hi. Alright, love you, goodbye. I did not mean to Dr. Seuss ya. Okay, it just kind of happened. Let's move on. Okay, we stream. Bye. Bye. Quick pause. Before you go, we should definitely keep this one. The VR community should accept this. We should be able to have a handful of slugs and then tap the trigger button, boom, 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 to then load them in. So grab a handful of slugs, tap the trigger to then load them into the gun. That'd be just extra, because it's annoying doing one of these. It's like so much movement for like, this is the whole thing. You know what I mean? One movement and full bullets opposed to 1 and a 2 and a 3 and it's dumb. All right, love you, bye. We do mods and things, but also these games. Love you, bye.